Hey guys, welcome back to the Goodfellow Podcast. I'm Joe Barone, your host. Thanks for tuning in. If you like us, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Don't forget our Patreon channel. There's some extra content on there, some paperwork, all kinds of good, other little stuff, even some more of a relaxed environment too. So tune into that. Also, we have some Goodfellow memorabilia, cups, shirts, and stuff like that. Check that out. We're going to be running some promos on those as well, but not just yet. Also, don't forget to ask Joe. That means guys can call in and ask about anything, send an email, just like you do with the comments. But you could call in and you can leave a voicemail if you like, and we really appreciate it. It could even be something personal about my own life or about the wise guy life. I appreciated everything. Also, I just want to last week and every week I talk about my friend Charlie Buono and his book Crime to Christ. Charlie Buono is a good friend of mine, and I'm going to put a picture up of him and his dad when Charlie was in prison at one time. Look at his father up here. What a this guy. I can't say nothing more good about him than just him. No, he's was like such a great guy. Gave us plenty of good advice, and now by last week's episode, you can see what kind of person, just by his smile, what kind of a man he really was. So that's Joe Buono, great man. Anyways, also don't forget about my friend Dominick Cicale, Mafia Roundtable, and he also has Cicale Unfiltered, which he's doing really good. I like his content. He had a special guest star on last week or the other day, and oh wow, it was really good. So tune into Dominic. He's also got his book, uh, the with Dominic with Quiet Dom, the Perfect Crime Family, and he also's got his toothbrush stuff, his EG vodka, which I'll be getting hopefully soon, and his shirt and stuff like that too. And I better get my copy of that book. Anyways, so tune into that. So today we're going to talk about like criminals extorting other criminals, like wise guys robbing real criminals out in the street. And it's not like where they would have to hold a gun to somebody's head. Like years ago, even in my last podcast, I talked about how I myself personally robbed drug dealers at one time. It's wise guys will do anything for the money, but they'll do certain things, and some things they'll look down on, some things they won't want to know about, or they'll turn a blind eye to it. But like, say you got a guy that's dealing drugs in your neighborhood. Now, basically, a lot of neighborhoods they don't want drugs in their neighborhood. But if some guy's around there, most of the time, if he's around there, he's there for a reason, because he's kicking up to these guys, wise guys, gangsters. Now, uh, me myself, I did little drugs here and there when I was younger. I smoked a lot of weed. I think maybe when the coke it was in, I did it for like maybe a couple of months like that. But most of the time, I was just going down to a real spot. It was Amsterdam Avenue. It's in the Bronx. It's in a bad neighborhood, and I would rob them. Not a lot of. It wasn't really so much money that I was getting, but I was robbing the drugs actually, and then I was giving it to a guy, and he would sell it, and I get the money like that.
How would you get your hands on it, or how would you, in other words, how would you rob them?
Believe it or not, I did it without a gun. I'm going to tell you how. So I was with this other guy. He's the one who actually showed me how to do it. He wasn't connected or anything. I won't say his name. He did wind up getting shot in the back later on. Thank God he lived and he wasn't paralyzed. But then he never went back to rob any more drug dealers. So we would go and drive with the car, and then they'd be on the corner ready to sell the coke. So we'd have like a lot of 20s rolled up, like, and say, yeah, hurry up, how much we can get for this? And we tell them X amount of grams or whatever it may have been. And so they said, okay, wait here, wait here. So we pulled, like, not over, we don't want to park, but we kind of like kept the car running. And we had a 20 on the outside, and then the rest was all singles.
Huh.
So it was like a real dumb scam, like, but we'd give them the money. We'd go, hurry up, the cops. We take the drugs, we give them the money, and we take off. So I did that a few times with him like that, because it was a lot harder to go into like a place where they had the money or they had a lot of drugs to go inside. Now you're taking a bigger chance, you know what I mean? And then plus also, you also need more inside information. Now, if you had a guy that was working with them who wanted to make a score, was unhappy with them for whatever reason, then that's how you would do that. Then you're able to go into the house and maybe even be introduced, or, then there's different ways to go about doing that. Then you'd have to be packing and, wearing a vest and whatever else you might have to do. Because don't forget, a lot of these guys don't care either. A lot of them don't even speak that much English, and they will shoot you, and they don't care. So you have to be ready for that. Also, if you're say you open up a club like an after hours place, or uh, you know something like that, a little place where you're gambling. Well, if you're in somebody's neighborhood, you're going to have to kick up. So now a wise guy to go over there and see you, and basically you're going to say, yeah, no, you could stay open here, but now every week you got to come see me, because you need my permission to do it. My father actually did that in Mount Vernon, and there was a guy in there in that town, and so my father was actually had to get the permission. He did, and my father had a couple of number stores in Mount Vernon, New York, and so we were doing actually pretty good. I think we got robbed once there too, but that usually doesn't happen too much because sometimes there's we're either protected, obviously, at number one, and number two is a lot of times the guy's taking a big chance robbing a place like that. So we did that. We had to go get permission, but my father kicked up to who we had to do. Uh, there's like another thing. Say you were a thief in the town, and you were robbing people, or you're a diamond thief, or whatever it may be. Well, sometimes a wise guy gets wind of it, and now you got to start kicking up to him, or you can't be in that neighborhood. And if there was a robbery or anything like that again, you got a problem. So
Did you ever approach anybody like that and kind of become partners, so to speak, with them?
well, no, only time you had to do that was like if somebody opened up a club. Like years ago when Rudy Pipolo, and I was very young then, and if a guy opened up a club like to gamble in or something like that, uh, and he didn't ask for Rudy's permission, then Rudy would set the place on fire.
Wow.
He used to say, "Go get the marshmallows." You know what I mean? Because, it's like, you there are some guys that will open a place and don't really care and don't want to know permission, and they might not be connected to anybody. Now, only two things could happen with that situation. One is you could get killed. One way or another, you're gonna pay or you're gonna get killed. The other way is if you just pay or you talk to them, you make your apologies, you make your amends, you know, and you talk to them, and then you say you made a mistake, whatever the case may be. I didn't know, or whatever. Sometimes they are connected to somebody else, and then they want to see how far they can push it before they have to, cut you in. Because let's face it, they're going to get their hands in anything, whether it's a union, whether it's look, there's some doctors that are doing some crooked stuff with Medicaid, Medicare, and
And the mafia would get involved with that?
well, yeah, because it doesn't matter if you had a captain in there. Captain might know somebody, but that's might not be the case. The soldier might know somebody, or the associate. So one way or another, they put it together so that they can even get even a bigger scam out of it. So in other words, if the doctor's making an extra 50, 100,000, 300,000 a year, whatever it may be, because they're scamming the insurance companies. Well, now a guy like myself comes in and says, listen, I got this idea, and then they do it. Now they're starting to make $1 million a year extra. So it all depends, and that's why I say they're extorting criminals, because when you're a wise guy, you're above most people as it is. That's the way it is. You're above them. So that's why it was like if somebody like a nobody comes like whatever and says, "Hey, listen, could I talk to you?" You can't talk to
When
them
you say
like that.
above most, you mean other criminals, correct?
Other criminals, and also even like a regular civilian. Yeah, if you guys remember The Godfather, you remember when Salazzo or whatever his name came to talk to uh, The Godfather, and because he wanted to start with the drug business. They had the drug stuff in Sicily, the heroin business and all of that stuff. I think it started from Turkey or whatever the case may be. But anyway, the point is he came there. But you remember what the Godfather said to him? He says, "Listen," he says, "I agreed to talk to you because they told me you were a serious man." So he had somebody actually reach out to talk to him, to ask him for a loan of $1 million or whatever it may have been to get started. And that's when he said, well, the Tatayas will back your money up if you're worried about security for your money and stuff like that. but he was smart, the Godfather. He didn't want to get involved with that because, listen, first they were doing great with the gambling, the hookers, and all this other stuff, sports, and all this other stuff. But you see, that was good, but the drugs was a kind of the future thing, and that's why they get involved with, like, now you'll see people even involved with the fentanyl, OxyContin, uh, anything like that because it's money.
Is the mafia involved with any drugs today or no?
Yeah, sure they are, but they try to, don't say no. We don't talk about it. We don't do it.
Because
And if
the
you,
drug business is probably bigger than ever right now.
well, yeah,
Especially you got weed going around like people are smoking it like it's cigarettes in the '80s now. And now people don't smoke cigarettes anymore. Now they smoke weed.
well, I mean, me personally, I think weed is better than cigarettes. To be honest with you, if you're going to smoke at all, but they say it's a gateway drug and all of this stuff. Look, my personal opinion is, you could smoke and it's not a gateway drug. That's all just they're trying to scare everybody. Do you really want to get more higher than the weed? Then you have other issues in yourself. In other words, to do that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, so the whole thing is like this. It's a business. It's all it is. It's about money. It's about making money. Okay. Uh, so whatever you're doing or whatever, you got to watch the neighborhood you're doing it in. Some neighborhoods won't allow it at all, and you can get seriously hurt, maybe even killed if you do anything in that neighborhood. So that you have to be careful of too. But there's some guys out there that are ballsy and they don't care. They got a crew behind them and they'll fight. So it all depends on who's stronger. And of course, the wise guys are always going to be stronger because they got a bigger crew, more resources, more money. So that's the kind of thing. And some people won't even care what they do. Some wise guys go, I didn't know they were doing it. It's all baloney. Excuse me a second.
Was there any extortion between families or within the same family?
No, no, we don't do that to your own. I mean, look, if you're a guy and you're making money, a lot of times, like, and I think I've mentioned this a few times, Dominic was making money legitimately, and he would always say, "Listen, I got the real estate, I got the construction, or whatever else, other things he was doing." He would always had the body shop, so he has a body shop. Well, if I know a friend of mine gets into a car accident, I'm going to send them there. You know what I mean?
Whether you're Genovese or Bonanno or not.
Yeah, and so the same thing too. If we knew somebody had another shop, even if it was since I was with the Bananas, if we saw somebody in the Genovese, and we knew that they had a great shop too and everything, and somebody I knew got into a car accident, we send them over there too. You know, you want to keep everything all within us. You know what I mean? We don't like to branch out and try to get new people in. You know what I mean?
I got you.
And then back in the days too, even when you had a body shop, you were able to talk to the adjuster and maybe put money back in your pocket, and then we still get paid for the job, and you're happy with the car, all kinds of stuff like that. So basically, that's really what it comes down to. I took a chance even robbing the drug deals. Like my friend, he went without me, and then he got shot. And
Really? Did he survive?
yeah, he got shot in the back.
Wow.
We thought he was going to be paralyzed, but thank God he wasn't. And that kind of ended that whole thing right there. Look, like I said, it's just the way it is. It's about making money. Look, they had even, what do you call it? You remember the Donnie Brasco movie? These guys were still robbing parking meters. See, in this life, that's good when you're younger. You rob a parking meter, you get a few dollars. It's good, but you're supposed to, and also these older guys look at you if you're excelling in any way. This is how they measure you up. Some people, you can see that they had a fight. They didn't back down from a bunch of guys, and they knew they were tough and they handled themselves. Okay, now is that all he's going to be or no? You know what I mean? All right, you started off robbing parking meters, and then you started robbing businesses or cars or whatever. They want to see how you escalate and see how you handle yourself. That's how they see if you've got potential, where they put you in the life, if they want you in the life at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, all of that stuff is very important. And, you need to know how to handle yourself.
So a guy like, you got guys like the same age, Michael Franzese, who's getting into the gas scam, and then you got guys his age that are robbing parking meters. It's like, who do I elevate to captain, or you know what I mean? So
Look, Michael Franzese, the deal came to him. He structured it the right way, and he was making money hand over fist. He knew what he was doing. He had a good head on his shoulder, and that propelled him. I mean, like I said before, like now he had to go for sit downs and everything like this because they were starting to get scared of him.
He was a soldier when he first got into the gas scam, or
I
was he?
think so, and then I think he got bumped up to captain. I think that's the way it went. I'm not exactly 100% sure.
And can you explain the
question
gas
for me.
scam for those who don't know what that was?
Basically, he was just robbing the tax money that the gas companies would make from the gas that they would sell. So he was actually robbing their money. It wasn't really,
It was the government's tax. It was the tax that the gas stations were
Yes.
supposed to be paying to the
yes,
government, but he was taking the gas and he was keeping the tax.
yes. Now he could explain it how he did it exactly way better than I could, of course. And so it's worth to take a look at him when he does explain that. But that look what he wasn't doing. It wasn't easy. Wasn't so hard. But yeah, he went through the channels. He did what he had to do because of who he was. He had connections, and he put it together. I mean, look, you got to hand it to the guy. I mean, he was making what a few $1,000,000 every week. He was saying or something like that.
Wow.
So if he did it for,
And what year was that?
I'm not sure if it was the late '80s, '90s, somewhere around there, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I mean,
He had to have been one of the most prolific mob earners ever. I mean, if not the highest earning one.
yeah, I mean for what it was and everything like that, and whoever thought about like robbing the gas money, the tax money from the gas, that's, I mean, it really was really cool. I thought too. I mean, look, that's a lot of money. Now, a lot of people said that they used to ask him, "Come on, Mike, we know you got the money somewhere hidden." That's his business. I don't know if he did or not. I don't know him. I'd like to meet him. I know some of his people reached out to us at one time. But hey, listen, that was a great thing.
Absolutely.
But you see, he came from good stock too. Look at his father. I mean, all right, he was in that life, and of course it did ruin his family, and almost anybody that's in that life, it ruins families. Let's face it. He's 100% correct on that. But he also, he came up the hard way, the good way, and he learned and he applied what he knew. So he was able to put that together. Think about all that money. Even if he was making just $5 million a week, that's $20 million a month. So if he did it for 6 months, you do the math. You know what I mean? That's not bad.
You were talking about the insurance scams earlier, how wise guys would get in with the doctors, and how exactly did those scams go?
Well, I never did it, so I wouldn't know how it went. But if you're doing, like, first of all, the doctors that are in on the Medicaid or Medicare scams, they're doing something wrong. Somebody gets wind of that, like say an associate like myself, or even a soldier or whatever. Now they the doctor's no more longer a doctor, in my opinion. He's a crook. He just got an MD, diploma.
Right.
But that's okay too. I don't care what a man does for a living. It's like the Godfather said. Oh, no, it doesn't bother me what a man does for a living. It's not doing anything to me. But now they figure out a way to get their hooks in it. Now, what do? Do they come up with fake scams, fake car accidents, fake neck injuries, fake back injuries? Whatever it takes to get it in.
Whatever it was just basically charging the insurance companies a lot more money than actually what was
Sure. Well, look, you got into a car accident. Nothing's wrong with you, thank God, right? Okay, good. But now you got the doctor that says his neck is messed up, Now you could actually sue another insurance company. You got a lawyer that's in on it, and you can say, listen, we'll settle for this, we'll settle for that, this. All kinds of different ways to make money. And let's face it, it's all about making money. You see what's going out there now. Almost everybody does something in their life. Everybody might have a skeleton of some kind in a closet. How bad, how big, all depends. You know what I mean? But you got to cut a corner here and there. There's too much restriction on the American people as it is. You get taxed when you get paid. You go out and spend that tax money you got taxed on. You got to get taxed again. It's just not. It's crazy, bro. I spent that. I didn't even buy any meat. I bought a thing of bacon. I went to Costco. Okay, I spent $135. I didn't even get chopped meat. I didn't get pork chops. I didn't get steaks. I didn't get nothing. I didn't get even a chicken, the rotisserie chicken,
Some
nothing.
crackers and some bacon and some fruits maybe, right? That's it.
Oh,
$135.
$135, bro.
That's crazy.
And look, I'm not complaining as opposed to, whatever. But I am complaining to some degree because it's ridiculous. Even Costco, where you would get a break, you're paying big money. For what?
You mentioned something about boxing off camera earlier before we started this episode.
Okay.
And it sparked my interest. How would they get involved with boxing, and how much of that was actually rigged with, the Tyson fights, people taking dives, people getting knocked out in 10 seconds and stuff like that? Like, how deep did the Mafia have their fangs in
It all
boxing?
depends on who it is. It could be the boxer that's in trouble with money and he knows somebody. Somebody reaches out to him to take a dive. This way they put big bets on him and then they give him some money too. It could be the guy's promoter that is in with these guys. It could be the trainer. It could be like, what was the guy Don? What do you call it? With the big head that he had back in those days with the big promoter. I mean, Don King. So it could be anything like that. It could be rigged because, you either bet for the guy to win or you tell him kill the guy in the ring. I don't care. Do what you got to do. Beat the shit out of him, whatever it takes, and that's it, or whatever. But that's how you make the money. You know who to bet it with. You know who's going to take the big bets. You go right to Vegas. You can go offshore betting. You can do anything.
And if the mob approaches you and say, "Hey, we're going to give you this much money. I need you to get knocked out or take a dive in the third round."
Yep.
What happens if the boxer says, "No, I'm not doing that"?
There could be anything could happen. He can get beat up himself after the fact. Maybe somebody in his family, somebody promote. All depends. A lot of that stuff doesn't take place because a lot of these people are willing to take the dive. Look,
Probably such a big amount of money that they're putting it, because at the end of the day they're betting and they're making 10 times what they're going to pay you off of the bets that they're going to win if you do take the dive.
well, look what happened with this thing. There was all the talk about Mike Tyson's fight. You know what I mean? Um, I know Mike. I met Mike Tyson. He's a dangerous individual, and from his performance that night of the fight, if you're asking me or whatever, for more from my opinion, that wasn't Mike Tyson. Now don't get me wrong. Is he older now and stuff like that? Yeah, but did you see him training before that fight? He almost looked like the same old Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
you
he
know what I'm
did.
saying?
And in the first round, it definitely looked like he was gonna pummel Jake Paul. But then it looked like the second round started, and like between rounds, somebody whispered in his ear and was like, "Hey, you got to make it more convincing,"
Yeah.
because
Well,
he came out a totally different fighter in round two.
well, even the
Looked
Paul.
terrible.
Yeah, you're right. Even the Paul guy, believe it or not, too. I mean, he is what he is. He's got a hard punch. I'd go for $20 million. I fight anybody. I don't care. But your whole thing is, hopefully, they don't break your neck. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
one punch from any of these guys, we're not. You talk. These guys are professionals. A professional boxer is different than a weightlifter. A weightlifter could go into to a ring with a boxer, but that don't mean jack shit. The boxer's totally trained, totally different. And you're talking about a guy could actually put you in a coma, maybe even kill you with one punch. It's happened before.
Yeah.
I think Boom Boom Mancini killed somebody. I think once, and if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know. I guess maybe some of the viewers can double check that. But yeah, I mean, so I lay down for $20 million too. It's $20 million, bro.
Yeah, I'd let you knock me out for 20 million. I'd do it for 1 million.
There you go. Okay, so it all depends, and like I said, but anyway, that was definitely the com. You had any questions more about that?
No, just I think it's very interesting. Back to the kind of main topic that we started with. It's wise guys shaking down other criminals, criminal on criminal violence, and it's like who are you going to go to if a wise guy comes and shakes you down? Are you going to go to cops? And
No.
you're committing fraud at a massive scale. No, you can't go anywhere. So you kind of have to bend to the mob's will, or suffer the consequences, and that could be anything, like you said.
But they know that. That's why, like, look, some lawyers are criminals. Some cops are criminals. If a cop does starting to do the wrong thing, and when they go into drug deals and they bust them and they keep some of the money, they're no longer policemen. If an attorney's taking money and stealing money and doing bad things like that, he's no longer an attorney. And speaking about attorneys, I'm trying to get my attorney on a Skype channel here to all my viewers. I wanted you guys to know a little bit about the law, how I presented my case and stuff like that. But I'm trying to get him on, and so we'll go into that more further. But yeah, like I said, once you do something like that, you're no longer acting like an attorney. You're acting as a criminal, and that's it.
Right.
The same thing with a cop. I can't look at you like a cop. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So, but are you any more on that one?
Why don't we go into the Ask Joe segment?
Let's do Ask Joe. I know there's some comments and some stuff that was asked. I guess whatever. If there's and you guys could also look. I'm going to put the phone number up on the screen. You guys can call in at any time you want. Then we'll play it on air and stuff like that. Nobody will know your number, of course, and also the email as well. You can put that up on screen too if you don't mind.
Yep, I'll have it on screen for you guys right now.
Good. And so, look, you could ask me anything personal, whatever, too. As a matter of fact, I was Payman, who has been watching me. Thank you, Payman. I've been, and you've been in my prayers as I said I would. Am I right?
Absolutely.
I pray a couple times a day. What I could be when I'm driving, whatever. But at nighttime, I like to do it most of the time. And you are in my prayers. Matter of fact, you're a type of guy. Things were different. We probably would have been friends in the street. You know what I'm saying? I could tell what kind of a person you are by your comments and stuff like that. And I really appreciate you watching and stuff like that. So, but if you want to.
Alrighty, first one here is from Kevin Smith. He says, "Good show again, fellas. I think my fiance may have a bit of a thing for you, Joe. LOL. You're more than welcome to our wedding if you're allowed in the UK."
Oh, man, don't laugh. I am allowed in the UK. And don't laugh. You send me that invitation, I think I might go. Thank you so much for that, Kevin. And, I wish you guys the best. And I would love to attend the wedding. That's the best. Weddings, you got the good music and the good food, you got the best wedding, right? It's always about the music and the food. Well, the food first. But thanks, Kevin.
Cagney99 says, "Was your father deaf?"
Is that a question because I was trying to get my father's attention maybe in that thing? Or when I talked to him, he couldn't hear me? Maybe that's what he's trying to say? Or is he...
Maybe he knew what was your father's name again? It was Joe Barone Sr., right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he knew a Joe Barone who was deaf, maybe, or something.
Well, he's trying to be smart. I don't know. But anyway, no, my father was not deaf. But in that time, I was trying to get his attention. I'm going to put the whole thing is I don't want to say things bad about my father as opposed to what he actually did to me. Okay? Because he is my father still. Maybe you guys can understand it if I did say certain things, but like my friend Suzanne, and I call her my friend because she's been so good to me on this, making comments. Suzanne had said the same. It's my story to tell. And matter of fact, I think her comment will come up there too. I want you to read that too. She speaks very well. And, I could say a lot of things. I told stories about my grandfather, which I didn't really want to say everything, but my grandfather almost killed my father. Physically killed him. And this is what happens back in those days. They were very barbaric more in those days.
This one is a message that was sent into our phone number from Shaq, who actually sent us a number. I think he sent us a message last week that we read. He says, "Hey, Mr. Barone, thank you for getting to my question. I recall when you're on Vlad's show and you mentioned that you weren't really aspiring to be a part of the mob. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't sure if it was at that specific time or in general. I watched probably all of Vlad's interviews and quite a few of podcasts of ex-mob affiliated guys, but your story sticks out to me.
Wow.
The raw emotion and honesty that you speak with is very refreshing. A lot of guys in this space tend to put up kind of a shield, and you can't really tell who they are or what they're really about. I look forward to your podcast every week. Keep up the great content."
Oh, thank you, Shaq. I really appreciate that. I just try to be myself. I do have feelings. I have a heart. I've been around. I'm not afraid to show it. I wish it could be made out of a movie. I think Dominick and I are still trying to get this out. It's a kind of collaboration between his story and mine because we were together. But yeah, I appreciate that. I just try to just be straight up and tell the truth. And listen, you got nothing to hide, you know. At least I don't. But thank you.
Real Truth 533. This is we're back to comments now.
Okay.
Says Eric Foss had a great interview with Dominick today, and he held him accountable for some of his recent words towards Joey Merlino. Great job by Eric Foss.
Yeah, I watched a little bit. I don't know about holding anybody accountable. Eric has his own take on things. So, but yeah, listen. Everybody, you know, has their opinions. Everybody has their take on stuff. But some things in this life, whether it's some things are true, whether you want to believe them or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, like I said, I'm not into the Joey Molino thing and everything. I'm not going to go back and forth with that, and that's it. I'm not into that, Blowly.
Hellfire Paintball, who's been a subscriber for a while now. I think he was a Patreon subscriber as well. So thank you for that, Hellfire.
Yeah, thank you.
He says, "Hi, Joe. Do you guys ship merchandise to Australia?"
Yeah, we definitely will. Are you kidding? You want something, we're going to get it to you. One way or another. Now, if I was in that lifestyle, I'd say, you're going to get it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Hellfire. We ship worldwide. As far as I'm aware, we ship to every single country. So,
Absolutely.
go check out our store. The link is at the top of the description.
And I also, like I said, I got in touch with Charlie too. He's going to send me some more books, so I'm going to get the address. He's going to send us some more copies of his book, so if anybody wants that as well.
Patty Brower 9432 says, "Hey Joe, it's so good to see you here. Love you, honey. I always appreciated your kindness and advice about a so-called friend." I'm guessing that's someone you know in real life.
Oh, wow.
Patty Brower.
Okay, thank you, Patty. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. Listen, I just shoot from the heart, you know. I just say it the way it is. But please ask me anything, whatever you want. Thank you for that.
Junior O'Flanagan says, "Joe, God bless, brother. I'm facing 4 years now, and I lost my little brother to murder. April." Oh man, this is a long. I had to click to see the rest of the comment.
That's fine.
I'm facing 4 years now, and I lost my little brother to murder in my arms April 25th, 2019. My dad to cancer April 25th, 2020. Jesus. And my life was attempted on 2 years ago, Christmas Eve. I was on life support, 7% chance to survive. We love and respect you, brother. Now I'm on the second surgery."
Wow. Wow.
Oh, he has a second part to the comment as well.
Let me hear, yeah.
By the way, Joe, I'm hitting you up from my brother from the east coast of Canada, Prince Edward Island, population 200,000, beaches and golf courses. My fam goes back to the Westies and the Western Gang, which is New Rochelle, correct?
No, the Westies are Westies from New York City.
Okay.
Yeah, they were the Irish mob.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And the Western Gang. My great-great-grandfather had a limo driver in Boston during the Prohibition. I got pictures of him working under Frank Dunny Ryam.
Wow.
The Longshoremen's Union in the docks, responsible for 90 million tons of yayo, which is cocaine, in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Wow. Send the picture in. We'll put it on screen if you want. Thank you for that comment. I'm really sorry about what you're going through and about your brother as well too. That's horrible. And listen, you know, people talk about nobody wants to go to prison. We just do our time. So just be careful when if you're facing the 4 years. If you have to go, maybe you can get a lesser sentence. I don't know your case, but thank you for sending that in, and we will definitely keep you in our thoughts and prayers as well. Everybody knows, man, this life it's tough out here, man. And, you know, but that's another sad story. But, wow, I can't believe that. Looking in. But if you want to send the picture in, we'll post it if you want. It's up to you. Give us a little background on it. We'll shoot it out there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's two from Payman64, two back-to-back comments. He says, "Hey, thank you guys so much for reading my emails."
Yeah, right, Payman. You're in the house, brother.
And then also he says, Billy Cotolo Jr. did the same thing. He stole from his dad, but his dad forgave him. It's obvious you're a kind-hearted person. Someone with a good heart has been that way from the start. That's why I don't pay attention to the haters.
Wow. Yeah, thank you, Payman. I listen, you know, like I said, I'm glad you can see that as well, and I'm glad I'm able to show everybody that because, look, even in school, I was the class clown. I just was a nice guy. When I was a little kid, I lived behind this. It was my uncle Tony's house, and I lived in this fence. And the kids would call me to the fence and throw dirt in my face. Um, and then my father saw it from up the window, and he says, "What?" And he went crazy, and I had to run after the kids and had to fight with them. But I was such a sucker. I would still go to the fence when they called me, because I just wanted friends. You know what I mean? I guess I was just a night, um, there was an older woman too when my mother had me in the carriage, and my mother said all I used to do was go hi hi, and this one lady I called her, she was my friend. So yeah, I try to have a good heart, brother. Thank you. Like I said, we're always thinking about you as well. Believe me.
This one's from Suzanne Burnfield 6116. Hi Joe, I just watched the live replay. What a great show! You really keep it real. You're a man of honor, and I can see that you have a heart of gold. Your life is only your story to tell, and your transparency on setting the record straight is admirable. Loving watching the show, and I always look forward to the next one, even if I have to watch the replay.
Thank you, Suzanne. See, she's great. You've been loyal to me and the show, and I really appreciate that. And you really kind words. I like somebody who can articulate like that. Thank you for that.
777 The Truth says, "Hey Joe, you explained that perfectly. You took the money because you were distraught and under tremendous pressure, but you brought everything back, minus the Corvette, which you said you'd pay back.
Hmm.
And that proves you were just trying to get his attention," meaning your father.
Yes.
Um, if you were going to burn him, you would have gone out and blew all the money or just never given it back. But again, that situation shows your true nature and that you have a good heart. God bless you, brother. Providence Jeff, or Jeff from Providence.
Hey, Jeff from Providence, thank you so much. I'm glad you were able to see that. And you know something, how I was going to get the money back because I knew the car salesman, his name was Tom Burgess. He worked for New Rochelle Chevrolet under Bucky, was the owner there. And so, because I was going to give the car, I was actually going to ask them to take the car back. I don't know how much money I would have lost, or Tom would have either took it back, not, of course, I would have lost money, but, or he would have said, try to sell it on your own. Don't put no more mileage on it, or whatever the case may be. I wasn't dealing with cars, and I used to buy and sell used cars back in the days. But yeah, no, that's exactly how I was going to get the money back. So I appreciate you seeing that and recognizing that that's exactly what I did.
We're just going over back to the emails. Somebody sent an email that says, this one's from Kevin. It says, "Joe, good show. What was the mood on the street like the night Paul Castellano got whacked?"
Oh wow, it was pretty bad because I was actually, it was actually before my birthday. My birthday's the 18th. I think he got whacked on the 17th or the 16th. I think he got in December. So I called my father. I was watching the TV, and all of a sudden it came on the news, breaking news, and I called my father down, and my father. I said, Dad, Dad. And he come running down, and we were watching, and he goes, "This is bad." He goes, like they started shaking his head, and
Because nobody had ever killed a boss before that, right?
oh yeah,
Oh, they had.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Just not maybe not as high profile. That was like the end of an era when
Well,
Paul Castellano died.
he was more. It was more profile because it was more the news. But they back in the days, when it wasn't news, they would kill bosses. But it was Lucky Luciano supposedly had killed the bosses to become boss himself. So things like that happen. But the mood in the street, it was just like, wow, there's a new, here's John Gotti now. This is the real deal. This is,
John Gotti, who took over
yeah,
after Castellano.
he's the one who had him whacked, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And so, listen, it was pretty much, I think, it was because Paul Castellano was probably going to get rid of John Gotti. And then so that wasn't going to happen. And John Gotti was the real thug. He wasn't like a Paul Castellano. Paul Castellano, he was just a businessman. And a lot of people say that Carlo Gambino, he made a mistake by putting his nephew or his brother-in-law, whatever the hell how he was related to him, in there. And I think everybody was kind of right on the money with that. But yeah, that the mood in the street was like, whoa, there's a new, there's a real tough guy in downtown.
New sheriff in town.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This one's from Hermosa Fish. Hey Joe, Dominic said he's gonna egg your car if you don't start paying him royalties for his stories.
Yeah, well, Dominic and I could definitely back each other up on a lot of the stories, because I was there with him a lot of the times, and then even the ones that I wasn't there, like you get the inside information from the guys around him or whatever the case may be. So even when I wasn't there, I was able to validate his stories. But I'll kick up. He's the boss. You know what I mean? In the legal family now, though.
Last of a Dying Breed says, that's his name. He says,
Okay.
just watched the show, loved it. Hopefully you and Dom can get together on another show soon. Have a great day, Paisano, from Johnny Provolone.
Hey, Johnny Provolone, my man. Yeah, no, I like that, Johnny Provolone. We're actually going to try to do something, a couple of us, Dominic, myself. I'm hoping to get to, talk to Gene Barillo, and so we're going to try to do a lot of different things. Dominic has been so busy, even for me to get in contact with him, sometimes it's hard. But that's that happens, But there's a lot of good stuff with all of us there. So we're going to do that. So thank you for that comment.
Kevin Francis, 1694, says, Hey, Joe, I've been watching your videos and Dominic's. I wasn't in the life, but my uncle was. He was in the Colombo family.
Wow.
And then I actually responded to this comment. I said, what was his name? And he says, Al Peanuts Surantonio. He would have been about 88 years old today, but he passed away in the early 2000s.
Wow.
So you ever heard of his name or no?
No. Okay. Maybe Dominic has, but I met a couple of guys from the Colombo. I met Patty D'Amato and somebody else. I forget who it was. That's actually when and you might remember this if he might also remember this. That what was his name again?
It was. Let me find it. I just scrolled away from it to the next comment.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Last of a Dying Breed.
Last of the Dying Breed.
No, that was.
You sure?
That's someone else.
Okay.
Sorry, I lost it. I'm sorry. I lost
Anyways,
the comment.
because I that was when the Colombo War was going on. There was Persico was fighting his own cousin, I think, Vicarina or whatever it was.
Sorry, the name was Kevin Francis.
Kevin Francis, yeah, we should have remembered that name. That's a cool name, kind of like, you know what I'm saying? No, it is. I liked it. But yeah, so that Kevin, if you remember that's when I met a couple of the Colombo guys. I was actually in MDC, MCC at that time, and so I met a lot of those guys then. But that's cool. That's a cool story though. Hey, let's ask Dominic if he knew his uncle. You never know.
Yeah, we'll have to pass that name along.
Yeah, we'll pass that name.
Next level PG8 OT says, Hey Joe, sending you much love and respect. German.
Hey, German. What's going on, brother? Thanks so much for checking us out.
We'll do a couple more here.
Yeah.
Just a side note before we continue with the comments. Guys, we saw a few comments saying on a clip. It was a clip that was posted of Joe cooking up some pasta, right, with some olive oil and garlic sauce.
Yep.
And a lot of people were commenting saying we got to get a cooking episode. So you know what? That's in the works. We're gonna do that. Hopefully next week's episode. That should look out, guys. We'll try to do some sausage and peppers or something like that. What do you think, Joe?
Maybe sausage and peppers. Maybe I'll do the garlic and oil again and show you how I make it. There's a lot of different ways, a lot of different people how to make it. This is Napolitan way, Sicilian way. There's a lot of different ways. I just make it whatever I do. Matter of fact, not only will we do that, I'll even show you guys how I used to cook when I was in prison and the kind of meals I would make then too. So we'll put a couple of things together.
Absolutely.
Thanks for asking about that. Appreciate it. You guys are getting me hungry right now.
Yeah, me too. The Scorpion says, great episode, and it was an epic interview on Vlad TV.
Wow.
Good job on getting through all the FBI BS. You're a good man, Mr. Barone. Peace and take care.
Thanks, the Scorpion. Thank you so much. Yeah, that, it's kind of messed up to say, but it's the truth. The FBI is so much more harder to deal with than the wise guys. At least you know where you stand with the wise guys. You know what you're involved in. The FBI, to be honest with you, they speak out of both sides of their mouth. If you can understand that, or they're two faced. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the wise guys aren't two faced either, but at least you knew that already. They're not going around saying I'm this, I'm that, and that's it. Like I said, I only made a couple of good connections in there while I was with the wise guys and stuff like that. But and of course, obviously, Dominic easily, but our crew was pretty tight, and there's a part of me that wishes I never went with the FBI, of course, and I just would have been with the wise guys if that's where I would have had to been going, and that's it. But it's I appreciate that comment. It meant something because the FBI. I'm gonna come up with some more stories on FBI and show you how low life they really are. We'll save that for another show.
Hellfire Paintball. Here's another one from them. They say, "Hi Joe, just a quick hello. I just want to let you know your videos are still helping my PTSD. Big love and respect."
Excellent. Thank you so much. And listen, if you want to call in and talk, or whatever, I'm glad because the PTSD sucks. I have been putting another one when I was going to see my therapist. It helps. It hurts to talk about a lot of things, but it also helps in a lot of ways too. So, but I appreciate that. I'm glad it's helping.
We'll do this last one right here. Vincent Pagliana. Hold on, this is a complicated last name. Vincent Paglialunga Jr. says,
I'll say Vincent, okay?
We'll just say Vincent. Hey Joe, like Dom, you guys keep it real, Goomba. What's your take on Sammy the Bull? Much respect from Vinny Vinny the Wolf from Newburgh, New York.
Hey, Vinny from Newburgh, the Wolf. Love that. Sammy, I guess you're talking about Sammy the Bull, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't know Sammy. There are a lot of things. I mean, I saw some of his interviews, some of his shows, but I would always side with Dominic on that because Dominic actually talked to him, knew what was going on with him more. So whatever, I would agree with whatever Dominic says about him, how he feels about him, because Dominic and I are pretty much alike in a lot of ways as far as if we got a bad taste about somebody in our mouth, we know that something's going on. But I guess, look, Sammy made a lot of money, did what he had to do. I guess he's making good money now too. I don't know him. I don't wish him any bad or anything like that. So, but that's all I can think about him. Thanks, Wolf. I appreciate it. So, anyways, with that, I want to just end something. I usually I'm trying to end stuff with a little saying of some kind, and I don't take credit for unless I made it up myself. Which I'm actually going to start bringing a couple of my poems on that I wrote over the years, especially when I was away on my first bid. Anyway, there are times in life when you can't show mercy, but if you devote your life to that concept, it consumes you. So that line I got from Cobra Kai, it's the old thing from the Karate Kid. So I got that from actually that show, and I thought it was excellent. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget, if you like and you want my friend Charlie's book, he's going to be sending me some extra copies. I hope you enjoyed the show. And don't forget to ask Joe, call in, any comments you want, personal with everything, our Patreon channel. Thanks. Yeah, I just get it. You think, but our Patreon channel too. Just subscribe, like us if you want. We got some extra stuff over there too, and even on this show, I'm going to start playing a little more guitar too. So you guys have a good week. Peace and love. Take care.